What happens when you mix a 500-pound lady, a Lyft car, and a driver unwilling to drive this lady? If you guessed a lawsuit, you would be correct. Now in this video, I will give you context to explain what happened, answer if the car actually could have handled her weight, as well as whether or not the driver was in the wrong. And lastly, I will speculate how likely or unlikely Dank Demoss could win this lawsuit. Firstly, let me briefly tell you guys about this whole situation. This lady, who is an obese rapper who goes by the name Dank Demoss, ordered a Lyft. When the Lyft driver saw her size, he said that he can't take the ride. She asks him why, and he says that she is too big for his car. The Lyft driver cancels the ride, and Dank Demoss is now filing a lawsuit against Lyft on the basis of discrimination. She posted the video of her ride getting cancelled on social media, and it went viral. And people online get so creative with their insults. Like, I saw someone say when she requested a lift, she meant a forklift. Yeah, but that aside, let us now talk about the car and whether or not it could have handled her weight. So from the video, I can tell that it's a Mercedes-Benz sedan. If I was to guess the model, I would say it's probably a C200, like a 2011 C200. I then went and googled what's the maximum weight which this car can handle, and apparently it's 1,000 pounds. Dank Demoss weighs about 500 pounds and the average American male weighs about 200 pounds, so yeah, the car should have been able to handle her weight, assuming that it's in perfect condition. Another thing which you have to consider is the weight has to be evenly distributed. So I don't know if her sitting in the back right seat would end up equaling out the weight, because she could put a lot of pressure on that back right tire, or if it would be better for her to sit in the middle of the car. Assuming that conditions aren't perfect, like this guy's car has a bad suspension or the wheels don't have enough pressure, then yes, him accepting her ride would end up, posing a risk to the car and perhaps even the safety of both passengers. Moving on to the third thing which I wanted to find out was, can Lyft drivers actually deny your request rides? And before I get to that, please leave a like on this video. You can subscribe if you wanna, but I need that like for the sake of the algorithm. So please, brothers and sisters, whoever is listening to me, please leave a like on the video, all right? Now let's get into it. If you're wondering, yes, Lyft drivers can actually deny your ride request under any circumstances. The problem with the driver, and the reason why the driver messed up, was he gave her the reason that it's because of her weight, thus giving her merit in her lawsuit against Lyft. Because him denying her ride request on the basis of her weight is actually grounds for discrimination. Because this brother could have made up any reason. He could have even lied and said, hey, I need to go to the hospital to check on my mom, so I can't take this request right now. But he wasn't thinking about that in the moment. Unfortunately, this brother is paying the price for honesty, and it ended up with Lyft getting sued. She can't sue the driver because it's his car. He can say no to anyone under any circumstances, so at least he isn't losing a bag. Lyft is losing a bag, so I guess it's a W for him. I hope he still has his job. But yeah, this constitutes discrimination. You can't be working as a cashier at McDonald's and then when someone places an order, you tell them, I don't want to serve you because you're too big.
As I'm walking, I see him like making faces or whatever. I'm like, oh man.
She already knew.
I can fit in this car.
Believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
Believe me.
He told her there's not enough room in his car.
The kicker part was when he started to talk about his tires. I feel like that was a slap in the face. That was like my tires.
I knew it was illegal and I knew that it was wrong.
Her attorneys, John Marco and Zach Runyon, say weight is a protected characteristic in Michigan by law.
It would be no different than a driver pulling up and saying, I don't want to have black people in my car, or I don't want to have Christians in my car or Muslims in my car. It's the same. Under the law, it's the same.
And now this leads into my final thoughts about whether she is going to win this lawsuit or not. Honestly speaking, the video has enough evidence to suggest that this is discrimination. So yes, I believe it's more likely that she will win a lawsuit against Lyft. I feel like with the amount of negative publicity which this company is getting, they're probably going to pay for an out-of-court settlement. So yeah, I think Dank Demoss is definitely going to get a bag out of this whole situation. On top of this, she's going to get a lot of media coverage about her music. So yeah, she also gets free publicity because people like Fox are interviewing her, and a lot of major accounts on Twitter are posting about this whole situation. So honestly, Dank Demoss actually gains the most out of this whole situation, no pun intended. Free publicity for her music, lots of publications talking about her, and she gets a free bag from Lyft, assuming that they do an out-of-court settlement, which I think they will do. They don't want that negative publicity. Her lawyers also get the publicity and the legal fees out of this whole situation, so the lawyers win. Unfortunately, Lyft takes the biggest L because they're going to have a little bit of negative publicity and they have to pay Dank Demoss, assuming they do an out-of-court settlement. And what does the driver gain or lose? Hopefully that brother gets to keep his job. I don't know if he wins in this whole situation. I think he'll pretty much be the same. I hope he gets to keep his job though. So with my parting thoughts, I think the driver was in the right. As a Lyft driver, you are within your rights to be able to deny whoever you want a ride. Where he was wrong was telling her it's because of her weight. I also think this whole situation was blown way out of proportion. Like, you have Fox News covering the story. Shouldn't you guys be like covering real issues, like, I don't know, the conflict in Israel, or like the Ukraine war or something like that? Or maybe how DeepSeek is now like the new trending AI. They probably have covered those issues, but I honestly don't think this should be like national news that a Lyft is getting rejected because a lady is too big for the Lyft, allegedly. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm still pretty new to commentary, you know, I'm new. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It'll really help for the algorithm, and consider subscribing. Peace.